अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे ववरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ॐ नमः प्रणवार्ताय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. शतरुद्रीयम्. You know, I make tall climbs. I tell people, you can dissolve the karmas of your hundreds and billions of incarnations before in this one janma. Yes, you can. I tell people all the time. People might wonder, how is it possible? Absolutely it's possible. Why do we have to do that? Why do you have to dissolve the entire karmas? Number one, to avoid the suffering that you are going through in this janma. That's number one. And number two, in order to avoid the future suffering that is going to come by many more births. That's why you have to go in the entire karmas. Patanjali says beautifully, Heyam dukkam anagatam. Anagatam. Hey, my friend, the suffering that has not come yet, anagatam. Heyam dukkam. Root it out before it comes. That's what this is all about. You know, if somebody tells me he or she is happy all the time, I won't buy that. Nobody is. Nobody is happy and completely fulfilled until and unless they resolve the karmic burden, and until and unless after resolving the karmic burden and automatically realize that Sivoham in them, then they rejoice. The realization doesn't come. You cannot put the cart before the horse, as they say it. The horse has to be before the cart. Otherwise you are not doing something right. Resolve the karmas. Realize your inner Sivoham. Then rejoice. But Swamiji, is it possible to resolve? Yes, absolutely possible. How? Go to the person who dispenses the result of your karmas. Don't go to the itty-bitty beggars who themselves are beggars. You know, if you need something, you go to a person who has it in plenty. You don't go to a beggar asking for money, right? So, it's absolutely possible. Now, I said that nobody can say that they're completely fulfilled or happy. If they are fulfilled and happy, they won't be still running around non-stop in circles. Why? We do action. A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and I want results E. Do you get result E all the time? No. Sometimes, most of the times, you get F. Failure. Why? Because your karma in itself, the A that you did, that the B you did, that the C you did, and the D you did, and A plus B plus C plus D that you all did, doesn't have the power in themselves to give you the results. Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kimparam karmata jadam. Ramana Maharishi. If your actions, that all that you do, have the power to give the results to you, nobody will be unhappy in this world. Every action will be achieved through its results. Every action will result in the result that you wanted. If every action that you did resulted in the fruit that you wanted, nobody will be unhappy. But that doesn't happen. No. Why? Somebody else dispensing, okay, this can I give these results or no? No or yes? So the dispenser is somebody else. That's why you go to the dispenser, not only to dispense you favorable results for your karmas, but also to dispense away with your entire karma. And that is Lord Rudra. Now, if you don't do this, where are you heading? Kritim mahodada patana karanam, deep down the ocean of samsara, deep down the ocean of karma. Patana karanam, cause of fall. But that's not where you want to be heading to. You should not be heading deep under. You should be flying up sky like the mythical bird, Suparna. Mythical bird, Suparna. In the Vedas, Suparna is the bird that takes you on its wings to your ultimate resort. That's the resort of all the resorts, the feet of Lord Shiva. So, most of you are familiar with this expression. Everybody has to have 3 R's. 3 R's, when you grow up. 3 R. Everybody. What 3 R? Reading, writing, Arithmetic. Yeah, there you go. Arithmetic. So, that's Swami. So reading, writing, arithmetic. So they don't call it arithmetic. So they have reading, writing, read for R, writing R, arithmetic. So 3 R's is the basic necessity for everybody. But that's for this world. But if you have these 3 R's that I display here, that's good for this world as well as that world. Good. Now, there is a deep relationship between suffering, pain, and karma. Past karma, present karma, future karma. How many karmas are there? Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agamiya karma. What is sanchita karma? That mountain, Himalayan mountain of karmas that you accumulate, that sanchita. What is prarabdha? From that Himalayan mountain, you brought a handful to work it out in this janma, in this birth. That's why it's called prarabdha. But what does it mean? Prarabdha, you pick up a handful from the mountain, sanchita, handful, and then you start this life, prarabdha, with that handful. To work it out. You know what you do? What we all do? Not you, when I say you, we all. In the process of working that handful karma out, we throw 100, 1000 handful back into the mountain. Agamiyaka. You think that mountain will ever disappear? No way. Absolutely no way. Mathematically impossible. You take a handful and you add a 1000 handful back, how are you going to resolve your karmas? No way. There is no way, no way, no way. You can work out your karmas by bringing a handful of prarabdha, a handful of prarabdha. No way. Doesn't work. How do we do this? Go to the person who can just make that entire mountain disappear like that. Vinnur adikkiya viragin vevvalal. உன்னிய புகிலவை ஒன்றும் இல்லையாம் பண்ணிய உலகினில் பயின்ற பாவத்தை நன்னி நின்று அறுப்பது நமச்சிவாயவே. Upper. You stack up dry wood sky high, dry wood. What is the easiest way to dissolve all that? Strike a match, put it underneath. The sky high dry wood is up in smoke towards the sky. So, upper says, the matchstick of Namah Shivaya. Vinnura adikkiya viragin vevvalal unniya puhilavai. ஒன்றும் இல்லையாம் பண்ணிய உலகினில் பயின்ற பாவத்தை நன்னி நின்று அறுப்பது நமச்சிவாயவே. Swamiji, how does it do? That Namachivaya, the introductory mantra, worship of Lord Shiva, what does it do? Panniya ulaginil payindra pavattai. All these karmas, karmic mountain that you accumulated, what does Namah Shivaya does? Nanni, it goes to the mountain, goes near it. The Namah Shivaya looks at it, oh my God, this guy has done a very good job. He built such a huge mountain. So Namah Shivaya really goes to your mountain, Nanni, Nindru, then stands there and looks at it. And what it does? Be gone. Cuts it asunder. Aruppu. That's the secret. It is possible. People have done it time and again. Not only 5,000 years ago during Tirumula time, 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago. Even now there are saints that you don't know. Not these guys who come on TV with big beards and turban. They're all jokers. There are saints, just very recently, Pundiswami. Not too long ago, Ramana Maharshi. Not too long ago, Akka Mahadevi. Not too long ago, Badala, Ramalinga Swami. Not too long ago, Basavanna. I can name, not too long ago, all these great saints from Maharashtra, all these great saints from Uttar Pradesh, all these great saints from Andhra Pradesh. Every nook and corner of India, people have validated it, proved it, it's possible to get out of this karmic cycle, vicious cycle. It's absolutely possible to cut asunder this mountain. Answers to all these questions that are raised in the previous slides. What are those questions? Is it possible to dissolve one's karmas entirely? Question number 2, why do we suffer? Why are we not happy? Where are we heading? Where should we be heading to? All this has been answered by not even by, they have been answered time and again from the Vedas, from the Puranas. But recently they have been answered. I'm not even going that far. Maharishi, Ramana Maharshi, a rishi of our own time, that people spent time with. When he left his body, this huge light went up in the sky that people were able to see all the way from Chennai. This light going up in the sky. That kind of a rishi. What did he say? Exactly what I told you in so many words. And the context he said this is a beautiful story. He wrote this Upadesa Saram. Strictly speaking, it started in Tamil as Upadesa Undiyar. Muruganar was one of his close disciples. And he was translating this story from Skanda Puranam about these rishis being so arrogant that through our karmas, like most of us these days, we think that I can do anything by action, I can do anything by my planning, and I can do anything by my efficiency, my skills. So that kind of arrogance took over these rishis of Dwarakavanam. Dwarakavanam is not up in the sky. Dwarakavanam is nothing but Chidambaram. The Chidambaram area was known as Dwarakavanam. So this really happened, these stories. They said, we don't need Shiva. We don't need Vishnu. We can get anything done through our powers. Our actions are powerful. Whatever we do will bear fruit. Well, when things like that happen, then they have to be rectified. So Vishnu goes to Lord Shiva, says, listen, we got to take care of this. He says, oh, okay. Well, you are the one who's very good at this, all these leelas and things, so you just come up with a plan. So then Vishnu said, as usual, like I do all the time, I'll take the form of a beautiful maiden. Vishnu just does that. And you come as Bhikshadana, and we will take care of these guys. So, through this little hamlet, where these rishis are in Dwarakavanam, Shiva is Bhikshadana, the most handsome person. And Vishnu is Mohini, the most beautiful, bewitching maiden. These two come, walking around in this hamlet, these rishis, Dwarakavanam. Now, the rishis are doing their havan. Athura indra kshamantam chitrang ghravam sangribhaya swaha om ganganapate swaha. And they see this Mohini, beautiful Mohini, all their heads turned towards that Mohini, and om ganganapate swaha. The ghee is going outside the havan kunda. Om ganganapate swaha. What about the Rishi Patnis? They saw this beautiful form of Lord Shiva. And this is what happened to them, as you see in the picture. And then when he went for alms in front of them, whatever they had in their ears and the ornaments, they just took it and gave it. Now, the Rishis saw this, what the Rishi Patnis were doing. They got so mad at Lord Shiva. We're going to destroy this guy now. He's bewitching all our ladies here. So through the power of their havan, they generated a tiger, sent it at Lord Shiva, and became a tiger skin. Sent a deer, got hold of it in his hand, and they did all kind of things. Huge elephant, become another robe for him, overcoat. Whatever they did, Shiva handled it just like that. Then they realized, oh my God, we are dealing with something else here. Then they prayed, whoever you are, please reveal yourself. Then they said, Vishnu said, this is Lord Shiva. Then they all begged Lord Shiva to give them some instructions, Upadesham. So when Muruganar had to come to translate this part of the Upadesham, he asked Ramana Maharshi, who himself was Sakshat Dakshinamurti, Lord Shiva's form, please, you do this. Rather than me translating, you compose Upadesha. And Ramana Maharshi did. In 30 verses, the entire teaching of Hinduism is compacted. Put it in a nutshell and gave it to us in a capsule. Kanmam palandaral katranadhanayal kanmam kadavula undi para. Kanmam kadavula undi para. Kanmam jadamadal undi para. Karturajñaya prapyate phalam. Karma kimparam. Karma tajjadam. Kanmam palandaral katranadhanayal. Only by the command of Lord Shiva alone, who is the dispenser of the results of your karmas will bear fruit. Not otherwise. Karturajñaya sehi. Karturajñaya. Prapyate phalam. Therefore, karmam kadavlo. How can karma be God? Karturajñaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param? Kim param? He is asking a question. Karma kim param? It can be. It cannot be God. Then what it is? Karmam jadamadal undi param. Karma kim param? Karma tajjatam. Jatam. Like a stone, like a piece of rock. Therefore, but then again he says, next verse. Vinay vin vilaivu vinay kulvittahi vinay kadal virtidum undi para. Veedu tharalillai undi para. Vinay vin vilaivu vinay kulvittahi. Karma generates more seed, karma, seed, and generates the ocean of karma. Then drowns you in the ocean of karma. Will not give you where you need to go. Moksha. Veedu Kritim mahodadau patana karanam. Kritim mahodadau. Maha udakam, the ocean. Udakam. Kriti mahodadau. Ocean of karmas. What does it do? Cause of your downfall. Patana karanam. Patana, downfall. Then what else does it do? Kutimaho dadao patana karanam. And even if it gives you some results, that phalam is asashvatam. The results of your karma, even if you get what you wanted, phalam asashvatam. Asashvat. Very transient. And then what? Gati nirodakam. Veedu tharalillai undivar. Gati stops you dead on your track of where you need to go. Therefore, Ramana Maharshi, should I keep quiet, not do anything? He says, no. Do action. But with your mind on the person who dispenses the result of your action, have for it to him. Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodakam mukti sadakam. Okay, I'll do that. Who is the Ishwara? Jagata yishadi yukta shevanam ashtamurti deva pujan. That Ishwara is Lord Shiva. And he is your karma phaladata. That's what the entire Rudram is all about. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Bhagavate Rudra, Namaste. First thing we do, the very first thing we do right after that, Namaste Rudra Manyava. I worship your anger. Manyu. Manyikartanaham karta manyikarahitanaaham karahita. I worship your anger. Why? Why you have to worship somebody's anger first? Lord Shiva has all these arrows. What are those arrows? The arrows that you manufactured and gave it to him. Those are your karmas. Karmas. Your karmas, karmic arrows, you gave them to him. Okay, Lord Shiva, shoot at me. At the time whenever it's right. That's when these arrows come when you're going through Sade Sati, or Rahu, Ketu Dashas. Rahu, Ketu and Sade Sati, Saturn are all not bad. They are just indicators, road signs to tell you now this karma is bearing fruit. Therefore Shani is written on your way when you drive. Okay, Shani. This particular karma that you did is coming to bear fruit now. That means Shani. This particular karma that you did is coming to bear fruit now, Rahu. Therefore, what is the remedy? All the astrologers will tell you go to Kalahasti, worship Lord Shiva. So, these weapons he has. Now, when does a person use a weapon? Does he use it when he's very happy and smiling and having a party? Does somebody use it? No. A person will use a weapon, not only a weapon, whatever he can find only when he gets mad and angry. Therefore, the first thing you worship is anger. When somebody is really mad, they don't know what the heck they're doing. They find anything they can get their hands on, throw it at you. And we have provided Lord Shiva with enough arsenal. Like you get married to a child when he does something wrong. So you have to set him right. You can't let him keep doing what he does. So you punish him a little bit here and there. Set him right. Make sure he doesn't call the police upon you. So sad. Anyway. So those are the weapons we have created and given to Lord Shiva. Now, the entire Rudram, because he is the karma phaladata, like I just said, like Ramana Maharshi said, so he is the Ishvara who dispenses the result of your karmas. We pray to Lord Shiva, I worship your anger. Okay? If your prayer gets through that, Utota Yishave Namaha, then I worship your anger. Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, Appa Unaku oru kumbudu, un kovathuku oru kumbudu, un villuku oru kumbudu, oru ambukku oru kumbudu, tuppaakikku oru kumbudu. All over Swami. So then the entire Rudram is about, it starts with a prayer. Worship your anger, worship your arrow. If it gets passed through the arrow, then the arrow is set on a bow and shot. So then worship the bow. If your prayer gets through it's so logic. You see, these rishis were so, automatically they were right. Rutambara prajna, whatever came from the rishis came from a truth-filled consciousness. So it was absolutely logical. They didn't have to sit down and write a code and program or logic. No. The consciousness they were in, Suddha Chetana, Suddha Chaitanya, was a consciousness where nothing wrong could come from. Spontaneous right action. That's how you should act. Be in that state and act. Therefore, look at this logic here. I worship your anger. Okay, that prayer went through. It didn't pass. So it went past that. Then you worship the arrow, your own arrows that you manufactured, gave it to him. That arrow also didn't listen to your prayer. So then you go to the bow, please, I worship you. Then the bow also doesn't listen. Then you go to Lord Shiva's hand. Oh, Lord Shiva's hand, please. When he sets that arrow on that bow, when he's angry and sets that arrow on that bow, please, don't shoot it too hard on me. Then the hand also didn't listen. Then you go to Lord Shiva himself directly. Oh Lord Shiva, please, can you do me a small favor? We all do that. We are very good at, most of us from India, we are very good at this. We start with, sir, please, can you do a small favor? What? Shiva says, what? Can you please blunt the tips of your arrow? I say, what? Please, you are so good, please. That's Rudram. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyam Utate Namaha Yata Yishu Shivatama Shivam Bhabuva Te Danuhu. Oh Lord Shiva, please make your bow and arrow auspicious. So, I'll just give you a gist of this Rudra. Keep on, we go on like that. We pray to him. Then he doesn't seem to be really interested. You manufactured so many arrows. You gave me whole truckloads of 40-foot container loads of arrows I have. You want me to blunt all those tips? Where I have the time? Then we know, when somebody refuses, we are very good at all this, most of us from India. Then we start, Hindi mein bolte hain na usko, maska lagaya. Buttery mouth. So then we start with these 300 names of Rudra. Om Namo Hiranyavahave Senhanye Dishancha Pathaye Vrikshebhya Rikeshebhya Pashunam Padaye Saspinjaraya Tusimate Patinam. 300 names, when you call, when you tell somebody so many nice things about them, even a rock would melt. And Lord Shiva loves these, glorifications of him. So he loves to hear these Tamil songs in love for him. So you have to say with this bhakti. So at the end of this 300 names, then our prayers no more blunt the tips and this and that. Now we become little closer, not little closer, we become a lot closer to Lord Shiva at the end of 9th Anuvakam. Then you know what we tell him? Well, we start in 10th Anuvakam, we start this beautiful prayer, amazingly beautiful prayer. Drape andasaspathe daridranila lohita. The prayer is so appropriate, so needed at this time of day. Whatever happening is in this entire world, particularly in India. Drape andasaspade daridran nila lohita yesam purushanam yesam pashunam maver maroma yesam kinchana mamat. Oh Lord Shiva, Lord Rudra, don't hurt these people. Yesam purushanam. Purusha means people, both men and women. Purusha doesn't mean men. Pura ushati iti purushaha. So, Puram means city. We have all these names in India. This Puram, that Puram, Alvar Puram, Nayanar Puram. So Puram means city. So but this body, what the Atma that lives in the body. Pura Ushati, therefore this body, whether you're a man or a woman, it's called Purusha. Esam Purushanam Pashunam. Don't hurt the human beings, don't hurt the animals also. Esam Purushanam Pashunam. Maber Maro, please don't harm them. Yes, not even a little. So that's how the 10th Anuvakam starts, and after the prayer, then they come to family, protect the last person they pray for is themselves. After praying for the village, after praying for the city, after praying for the animals, praying for the soldiers, praying for the servants, praying for the pets, praying for the grandfathers, praying for the parents, praying for the children, then the last person they pray for is themselves. Completely reverse what we do these days. Completely reverse. And that's why everything is happening ulta. We have such a model in our scriptures. What happened to us? This beautiful workbook of how we should do things. But we completely reverse the whole thing. We start with us first. Protect me first. Heck with the rest of the world. I talked about this last Sunday after our Mahamrityunjaya home. Don't think you are the center of this world. There are people like that, completely unaware of how others get affected by what they do. And here's a prayer that prays for the entire world, then the country, then their city, then their village, then their pets, then their servants, then their grandparents, then their parents, then the children, then last themselves. What a sublime culture that was. After saying the prayer, when we tell Lord Shiva, because now we are familiar with him, Lord Shiva, Sahasra Yojane Vaganmani Dhanmasi, throw your arrows thousands of miles away. First, how did we start? Plant the tips of your arrows. What he was telling him now. Throw them away thousands of, it means dispense all our karmas, get rid of all our karmas that we gave him. And you know what? He does it. Absolutely he does it. That's why Yajnavalkya says so beautiful as we see down the line. We're still stuck. So beautifully. The disciples go and ask Yajnavalkya, Guruji, Rishi Mahoday, कैसे जीवन मुक्त हो? हमारे ये संसार से, ये बंधन से कैसे छुटकारा पाए? How can we get rid of this bondage? Yajnavalkya says very beautifully in one line. Only through the 300 names of Lord Shiva as listed in the Satarudriyam. Rudra Trishul. There is no other way. Or like Upper said, through Panchakshari, which is the essence of all the Vedas. So, that's where Ramana Maharshi wrote that Upadesa Undiyar, and then Upadesa Saram in Sanskrit. We'll just go through it real quick. I just went through it already, but we'll go through the slides real quick. Kaptarajñaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam karmam payandal katranadhanayal karmam kadavula undi para karmam kadavula undi para karmam jadamadal undi para kapturajñaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam kritimahodadau patanakaranam Phalam sashvatam gati nirodhakam Vinai vin vilaivu vili utru vittaye vinai kadal viltidam mundi para Vidu taralilai undi para. It will not bring you to your home. Kartanu kaka nishkamiya kanmam karuttai tirutti adundi para Gadivali kanvikkum mundi para Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodakam mukti sadakam. When you do that, Lord Ishvara, it's you who is the dispenser of these karmas. With that attitude, when you do things, your buddhi becomes clear. Chitta shodakam. Then what? Mukti sadakam. Liberation is possible. Possible. And who is that Lord Ishvara? Lord Shiva, how is he? He is manifested in this 8 form. எண்ணூறு யாவும் ஈரை உருவாம் என எண்ணி வழிபடல் உந்தி பர ஈசனர் பூசை உந்தி பர. Worship Lord Shiva, who has manifested in these 8 forms. What are the 8 forms? The Panchabhutas. The fire, air, water, the earth and the space. Each one, there is a temple representing each one of these for Shiva. So those 5. Then the sun and the moon. Oh my friend, Ramana Maharshi, I can't go to sun or a moon. Ramana Maharshi, I can't worship the Panchabhutas, I can't see the air. The fire is too hard. Akasha, oh, I'm going to worship Akasha. Water, I'm going to worship water. Either it's blood or no water. Which part of the earth should I worship? Then Ramana Maharshi make it a little simple. Okay, worship the sun and the moon. Ramana Maharshi is too hard. Can't reach the sun and the moon. Okay, I'll make it easier for you. Lord Shiva is in all the Jiva Rasis. All human beings, all animals. The essence of Rudram is what Ramana Maharshi is saying here. Ashtamurtibir Deva Pujanam. Ashtamurte Namaha, one of the 108 names. Lord Shiva. So, that Karma Phaladata, as mentioned in the Rudram, is talked about by Ramana Maharshi. Also in this, Ramana Maharshi was completely in Advaita state of enlightenment. But he never left the worship of Lord Shiva, which is complete contradiction to Advaita. God is supposed to be formless. But if you go one step further to Saiva Siddhantam, that Parabrahman, that formless one that we call Parabrahman, is no one else but Lord Shiva. Vyakta Vyakta Nirupitincha Paramam. He is the manifest as well as unmanifest. The 5th phase of Lord Shiva, the Urdhvamukam. What is that? The Vedas tell us. Vyakta Vyakta Nirupitincha Paramam Shatram Satatvadikam Tasmad Uttaradattam Aksharamiti Dhyayam Sadayogivihi Omkaradi Samasta Mantra Janakam Sukshmadi Sukshmam Param Vande Panchamameshwarasya Vadan Kavyapi Tejomayam. That formless Lord is love. His formless God is also Shiva. Avyakta, the one he became a form, Vyakta, is Lord Shiva. And the Vyakta, Avyakta form is the Shiva Linga, because he knows we cannot worship something that we cannot imagine. So he gave us a form that is at once a form and formless. This beautiful concept of Shiva Linga. When we come to 9th Anvamakam, I will tell you that. There are a lot of stupid concepts that people spread about Shiva Linga. Nonsense. Science has validated. I'm a physicist by profession. I can tell you how far physics has gone. Physics is the only subject that has gone to scratch the edge of our Hindu philosophy. Scratch the edge, I said. Because it doesn't have the capacity yet to go beyond the scratching. Okay. So, today's discourse, we are supposed to do all this. The different nomenclatures, how the Rudram goes about, is called Shatarudriyam. What is Namakam and Chamakam, and what do the scriptures say about Rudram? It's called Shatarudriyam. Why is it called Shatarudriyam? Satam means 100. This is why. Ekashatam yajuhu shakasthasu Rudropanishadhamnayate Shatashakha ghatam saksha chatarudriyamuchyate. Because this Rudram is in 100 branches, Ekashatam yajuhu. Ekashatam yajuhu. Ekashatam, 100 one branches or 100 branches, whichever way you want to interpret. 100 branches of Yajurveda, there's Rudram. Most of the branches are gone. We lost so much of the Vedas. Extinct. So because it was on those 100 branches, that's what it's called Shatarudriyam, Amnayate. Amnaya means a sacred tradition, a sacred text that's handed down. Dakshinamnayana, when you call Sringeri Pidam, you call Dakshinamnayana. Coming by a tradition, a holy tradition. So, Ekashatam Yaju Shakasthas Rudropanishad Amnayate Shatashakagatam Saksha Kshatarudriyam Uchyate. Now what does Rudra really mean? Rudra veti Rudraha. Rodati Rudraha. He makes you cry. He also then wipes your tears away. Rudra veti Rudraha. Why does he make you cry? Because you did something wrong. Therefore, he roars, stop that! He roars it. Terrific, angry roar. Also means he's great, he's Lord, Brut. And Rudra also means you can drive away the evil. If there's any negative influence anywhere in your house, you think there are some negative entities, play Rudram. You can drive away the evil. And Rudra also means one who is fit to be prized. And he's also a teacher. Ru means to teach. And Dra means a flow. He is the flow of your life. He is a continuous flow. Whether you're in this body or another body. You have the continuous flow that's in you as Atma. Rudravayat. Rudra. So Namakam. When we talk about Sri Rudram, usually we say mainly Namakam. Now, Rudram has one special quality that no other scriptures in Hinduism does. No other scriptures. No other scriptures. I'm repeating this. What is that quality? Rudram is not only used in karmakandas, in fire ceremonies, in worships, in abhishekam, in the rituals, but it also comes under the Upanishad. It's called Rudra Upanishad. Rudram is the only one that permeates the entire Vedas. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad, like underlying current. Why? You look at Rudram, Lord Shiva is described to be in every nook and corner of creation. Every nook and he is in the pebble. Oh Lord Rudra, he is in the blade of grass. You're in the thunder, you're in the lightning. Meghjaj, Vidyitjaj, Idriyaj, Tapyaj, Vatyaj, Reshmyaj, Vastavyaj, Vastavayaj. Thunder, lightning, fire, pebble, well, river, cave, thorn, dog, owner of the dog, fisherman, fowler, dacoit, daku, leader of the daku. This is Advaita Vedanta. Upanishad. Sarvam Kalaidam Brahma. Sarvam Kalaidam, whatever here is, nothing but Lord Rudra. Isa Vashyamidam Sarvam. Yat Kinchit Jagatyam. You know, people, when you say what is Upanishad, they tell you, oh, Upanishad, you go and sit under a tree near the feet of your guru. That is, and then you learn something. That is why it's called Upanishad, because a guru taught to a disciple who was sitting near him. That's your internet meaning, okay? Don't study these things on the internet. You'll be lost. Upanishad's meaning is so beautiful. Upa means something that is close. Ni, nishchayena, shad means to go, to remove, to destroy. Now the first word is close. What is the most closest thing to you? When I say closest thing to you, it's all relative. If you're sitting in your office, your home is far. Your office entrance gate is close. If you're sitting at your home in a living room, your office is far now. Okay, let's come back to your home. You're sitting on a couch in your home. Office is far. Your gate close. Your door closer. And then the table in front of you is much closer. And then what else is closer? Your feet, the couch you're sitting is closer. And your feet is closer. Your knee is closer than your feet. Your thigh is closer than your knee. Your stomach is closer than your thigh. Now when I say this, what is the reference point I'm using? You can unmute and tell me. Where's the reference point I'm using?
My body.
Not body. I just said your feet is closer to your feet is your knee is closer to your feet.
Heart.
Yeah, somebody said heart. Okay. You can unmute your microphone. So when somebody says, when you point out to you, you don't do this. You don't point out your head like that. No, you point here. So the closest thing, that heart is your reference. So where is the real you then? In the heart. The real you is in the heart. And what is the real you? That is the Atma. And that is Lord Shiva. That Sivoham is what you're supposed to realize. I tell all the time, there was only one time in his entire life Adi Shankaracharya spoke the truth. Very tall statement, but it's true. When was that? When he was 12 years old in front of his guru, he walked over 2,000 miles. From Kaladi in Kerala all the way to Madhya Pradesh, Narmadeshwar. Near Narmada, Omkareshwar. Where you get all these Narmadeshwar Shivalingams. Our Shivalingam for Tiruvannamalai Ashram, the 23 feet Shivalingam, is coming from Omkareshwar. Planning to be inaugurated on July 23rd. So Omkareshwar is a very special place. Narmada is a very special river. That particular area, 50 miles square mile, very special area. So that's where Adi Shankara is heading. From Kaladi, 12-year-old, 2,000 miles to walk. He crossed that in 2 months, almost 30 miles a day. If you want to go to a supermarket, to a Publix or any supermarket, you jump a couple of blocks away, you jump in your car and drive. Now, there's a little boy who walked 2,000 miles. Nobody to give him food, nobody to care for him in the rain, in the sun, in animals. How did he? He did it for our sake. All this sacrifice, the little boy walked 2,000 miles, not for himself, to save Sanatana Dharma. So he reaches Madhya Pradesh, Narmada. Narmada is in flood. Narmada is in flood. And Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya is in Samadhi, in a cave. If you're in that area, you would know what I'm talking about. Little hill areas, not big mountain, but little hilly areas. So he was in one of the caves in Samadhi. The flood level is rising and the disciples are worried that the flood might sweep him away. They don't know what to do. And Adi Shankaracharya is on this side of the river and looking at all the tamasha. So he picks up his kamandal, dips it in river Narmada, dips it into the river, and contains the entire flood in that kamandal. Contains it in the kamandal. Flood recedes, walks across, reaches to where the Guru is. The disciples are so happy, they're jumping up and down. Both halla macha rahe. And then all this noise woke up the Guru. Says, "Kya halchal ho raha hai idhar? Guruji, inhone aapko bacha diya." कौन बचा दे? ये छोटा बच्चा 12 साल का लड़का दक्षिण भारत आपको बचा दिया, उनको बचा दिया, कैसे बचा? ये पूरे भाड़ में आप तब जाने वाले थे, इन्होंने भाड़ को अपने कमंडल में कर। You know, there was not only Shankara who did this, many saints in India, if only you know the history, who have parted rivers. Many. I can give you the names. But those, they made no hullabulla about it. Just a matter of fact, they did all that. So, then the Guru looks at Adi Shankara, says, "Who are you? Kaun ho tum?" Shankara didn't say who he was. He said who he was not. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. Guruji, not the mind. Man, मैं नहीं हूँ. क्या बुद्धि हो? नहीं, बुद्धि भी नहीं. बुद्धि नहीं हूँ. तो अहंकार हो? नहीं, वो भी नहीं. I'm not the mind, I'm not the buddhi, and I'm not the I that I think I am. Ahankar here means not ghamand or arrogance. I mean, ahankar means the concept of I, the I that you think that you are. That 6 feet, 5 feet 10, or 5.5. You are not 5.5 when you're 2 years old, still you are there. So that's not the real you. The real you that you think you are, that's not you. That's what he said, ahankar nahi hu. Mana buddhya ahankara chittani naham. Phir kaun ho tum? Sivoham. Chidananda rupam. Sivoham. Sivoham. Chidananda rupam. Chidananda rupam. Sivoham. 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 Why did he do that? The rest of the life he said, Vedanta dhindimaham brahmasmi tattvamasi ayam atma brahma sarvam kalvidam brahma prajnanam brahma Vedanta dhindima dham 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 all his life. Was he telling a lie? Then why did he say to his guru he was Shiva? Why didn't he say I am Brahma? Aham Brahmasmi. Rest of the life he said that. But the first time he said, when the Guru asked, he said, Sivoham. The reason he did the rest of his life what he did, because the purpose of his incarnation was to unite Hindus who were fighting among themselves. So if he had the rest of his life, he had said, Sivoham, the Vaishnavites may have thrown him out. The Shaktas may have thrown him out, will have thrown him out. The Ganapatyas would have thrown him out. The Sauras from Saurashtra would have thrown him out. Saurashtra. The Kaumaras from Tamil Nadu would have thrown him out. Therefore, he followed the safest path to unite Hinduism. So, that Shiva, that's you. When I say, distance, closest. So what is the closest thing? You are the most closest thing to yourself. That heart, when you say where you are, That is the closest. Not you and your feet. Your toe is not close to you. Your knee is not close to you. Your thigh is not close to you. Your abdomen is not close to you. Your navel is not close to you. All this reference point, you come and you end where? That's where you are. So who is the closest and closest with zero distance? You. That is what meant by upa. So that closest thing that is revealed to you by removing the ignorance, nischayena, definitely removing ignorance, revealing the thing that is closest to you is Upanishad. Not sitting under a tree near a guru. That's internet meaning, okay? This is what Upanishad is. The knowledge of the most closest thing, knowledge of Atma, because the closest thing is you. There's beautiful stories I can tell you, but time constraints. We're already hitting upon the hour. But time constraints, I will not tell you. There's a very beautiful stories in Hinduism to depict that. So, that's Sivoham, that Atma. So that's what Rudram is all about. Revealing that self, that Shiva in you. Aham Shiva. Shiva Aham Sivoham. That's why it's called Upanishad. Because Shiva is in everything, including you. He's your Atma. He's in the cat, he's in the dog, he's in the snake. He's in the fowler, he's in the butcher. He's in the fisherman. Okay. Now, this is what I was just telling you. Ishvaro jiva khalaya pravishto bhagavan hiti. Rudra is pervading all forms, nature, trees, water, pebble, ocean, sky, lightning, all forms of jivas. This is the summary of Rudra. Humans, both good and bad, and creatures, big and small. Shiva has entered into all forms and abides as jiva kala. That's why it's called Upanishad, Advaita. Jabala Upanishad. Atahainam brahmacharina uchuho. The brahmachari is meant to ask. Yajnavalkya, what did they ask him? Atahainam brahmacharina uchuho. What? Kim japyena amrtatvam bruhiti. By worshipping whom, by chanting whose names, you can reach amrtatvam. Mutyor mukshiya, ma amrta, that amrtatvam. How can you reach? Saho vacha yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya says, Satarudriyena chotanyeva hava amatacya namani. The immortal names, 300 names of Lord Shiva. Yai tairhava amurtho bhavatiti. Eva meva. This is the only thing. Tad yajnavalkya. Brahmacharyans of Yajnavalkya asked him, pray tell us what is that mantra by reciting which one attains immortality. He replies, Satarudriyam. These mantras are indeed the names of Rudra, the best immortality upon you. By reciting this, chanting this, one becomes immortal. What does Kaivalya Upanishad say? I said that Rudram destroys your karmas. That's exactly what Kaivalya Upanishad says. Because it's a prayer to Lord Shiva. He is a karma phaladata. When he's pleased with you, when the judge is your friend, when the policeman is your friend, you won't get a ticket. He may see you, but if he happens to be a friend of you, oh, okay, let you go with the one. So when Shiva is your friend, your karma phalas are gone, mitigated. And here Kaivalya Upanishad says what kind of papas are mitigated by Rudram. Yaha satarudriyo adite. 1 hour who chants adite. So Agni bhutho bhavati. It burns. What burns? Karmas that get burned. Suropana bhavati, all these sins of drinking and having fun and all those things. Surapana bhuto bhavati. Brahmahatyaya bhuto bhavati. Swarnasteya, stealing gold. Brahmahatya, kritya, commissions and omissions, bhuto bhavati. Tasmad vimuttatma shrito bhavatyashrami sarvada sakritva japet. Therefore, my friend, chant Rudram all the time. Anena jnanam apnoti. You will get all the knowledge that you need to get. Don't have to go to an encyclopedia. Anena jnanam apnoti. Then what? Sansararnava nashanam. The ocean of samsara. Dashanam. Ocean, nashanam. Sansara, arnava. Arnava. That mahodat, Ramana Maharshi talked about. That ocean. Kriti mahodada patanakaram. That ocean is nashanam. Therefore, tasmad evam viditvainam. Do this, then what happens to you? You get kaivalya. Kaivalya padam iti. Upanishad telling you to worship. Upanishad talk about formless Brahman. How many Upanishads we saw already? Japala Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Svetasvatara Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad. They talk about formless God. Now they're telling you to worship a God, Lord Shiva, with this beautiful form. My friend, what proof you need? He who recites Atarudriyam becomes cleansed of all the sins as if by fire. By this a man attains that knowledge which destroys the sea of samsara. Samsara or never, sea of samsara. And thus he enjoys the fruit, he rejoices. Resolve your karma. Yeah. Resolve, realize Kaivalya. Then be in bliss, rejoice. Resolve, realize, rejoice. 3 hours. Reading, writing, arithmetic. Only for this world. Okay. Kaivalya. Mandikya Upanishad, what does it say? Nanta prajnam na bhaishya prajnam na bhayata prajnam na prajnana ghanam na prajnam na prajnam adrishtam abhyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam abhyopadeshyam yekatma pratyayasaram prapanchopashamam. And what is that? Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtam, Manyante, Saha Atma Savijnaya. That Atma of yours is Lord Shiva. And who is that? He is neither outside nor inside. Na anta prajnam na bahishya prajnam, no avayata prajnam, not in between. Na prajnanaganam, nor is he the dens of this consciousness. Adrishtam, can't see. Abhyavaharyam, can't talk about it. Agrahyam, can I grasp it? No. Alakshanam, does it have any aspects, any form? No. Can I think about it? No. Can I teach about it? No. Achintyam, abhyopadeshyam. What is that? Pratyayasaram, that's you, the essence of you. Prapancha upashamam, where the entire prapancha has come and settled down and resolve. Who is that? That's Shivam. How is he? Shantam. That's the Shiva in meditation. We have this beautiful murti in our temple. Shiva in complete meditation. There's a joyful smile on that face. Sometimes when you watch our online pujas, you will see him. Such a smile, lovely smile. I've not seen it anywhere. It's absolute bliss. Shantam. Advaitam instead of Advaita. Chaturtham, the fourth state, Turiya. We'll talk about consciousness, different states some other time. Anyante, and who is that? Saha Atma, that's your Atma. Savijnaya, know that to be your Atma. Sivoham. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham, Anyante, Sahatma, Savijnaya. He is the one to be known. Okay? Svetasvatara Upanishad. Yayeko, he is the only one. No other ones. He is the only one. Yayeko, Jalavan Ishate Ishani Vihi. Who is he? He is a Jalavan, he is a magician. Plays with you. All this creation is his magic. This is all his magic. He plays his Damru, Nataraja plays his Damru, dan, quantum physics has validated all this. Some other time I'll tell you. Dan, the magic happens. Dan, the show is over. Jalavan, Ishata Ishani Bihi. He is a lord, lording over everybody. Ishata Ishani Bihi. What is he lording over? Sarva Lokan Ishata Ishani Bihi. Not a village, not a town panchayat, not a city corporation, not a country, not a world, not this world, that world. Sarva Lokan Ishata Ishani. Every world that there is created in this cosmos. Bhurlokam, Bhurlokam, Surlokam. The 7 worlds under, 7 worlds up. Patala, Sutala, Tala, Talatala, all those underworlds. Satyaloka. All these worlds. Sarva Lokani Ishate Ishani Vihi. Then, what about him? Yayevaika Udbhave Shambhave Cha. He is the only one. He alone is the one. He who remains before creation. And he is the only one who remains when the whole creation disappears. So he remains. So whatever happens is a show. Hundreds of Brahma Kapa, Koti Brahma Kapala Mala Dharine Namaha. We chanted that mantra in our Mahamrityunjaya Homa. Mrityunjaya Mala mantra. Very powerful. Koti Brahmas. Not 1 or 2. That's why all the shows. Every Brahma is a show. Morning show, afternoon show, evening show. But the one who remains behind all these shows is the Jalavan. So the skulls Shiva is wearing is skulls of Brahmas. Brahmas have come and gone, uncountable like this grain of sands on the beach. That many Brahmas. That's why when we start our Sankalpa in Puja, you say Adya Brahmanaha, in the age of this Brahma. Which means what? There have been Brahmas before and there will be Brahmas after. In the age of this Brahma, then that is divided into many divisions. Dvitiya Adya Brahmanaha, Dvitiya Bhrarte, Svetavaraha Kalpe, Vaivasvatamanmantrashtam, Chadidame Kaliyuge. By the time we come to family territory, it's very long. It's millions of years by the time we come to family territory. In the age of this Brahma, second Parartha, in the Kalpa of Svetavaraha, that means the other Kalpas. Second Parartha, that means other Pararthas. Jab Brahmana, Dvitiya Bharate, Svetavaraha Kalpe, Vaivasvataman Mantra, other Manmantras are there. This is Vaivasvataman Mantra, Ashtavagam, so the 28, that means that there may be 27 before and the many after. Kali Yuge, now family territory. Uttama Bhade, first quarter. Then you zoom into your time. So this is our calendar, mind-boggling calendar. There have been many Brahmas like that come and gone. So those, the skulls Lord Shiva is wearing, this Brahma skull. And that's all the show. Udbhava, because he is the one who remains, Udbhave, Sambhave. At the time of creation, after creation is resolved, he alone remains. Yayedat viduraha, the one who knows this Lord, who remains eternal behind the show, he becomes immortal. Amarthaste bhavanti. Eko hi Rudro. Only one Rudra. No second, no third, no zero either. Ya iman lokan ishate ishini bihina dvitiyayatastu he janaha pratyangtishtati. He is in you. He is permeating in all the jivas. Sansrijya Vishwa Bhuvanani Gopa, all the creation he has permeated. And then he resolves everything into himself, Sanchukocha Antakale. He who protects and controls the world by his own powers, he Rudra is only one. There is no one beside him who can make him the second. No. O men, he is present inside the hearts of all beings. We just talked about it. After projecting and maintaining all the worlds, he finally withdraws him. Sanchikocha. Puranas, Vayu Purana tells you very clearly, Vidyaso Srutivatkrishta Rudra Ekadashni Sruta Tatra Vanchakshari Tasyam Shiva Ityakshara. Of all the knowledge that you can learn, the most important thing that needs to be learned is that of the Shrutis. Even in that, the most important thing, the most essential thing, the most supreme thing that needs to be learned in the Shruti is the Rudram. Even in the Rudram, the most supreme thing that needs to be learned is the Panchakshari. And even in the Panchakshari, the most important thing that you need to learn is Aksharadvayam, 2 letters. Shiva, 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 Shiva. Vidyaso Sruti Utkrishta Rudra Ekadashni Sruta Tatra Vanchakshari Tasyam Shiva Ityakshara. Vrikshasya Moola Sekena Shakaha Pushyanti Vayatha. Just as you pour water in the root and all the branches and the leaves get nourished, you don't throw water on the stem or the branch, you put water in the root. I tell this all the time. When there are problems in your life, you water the root, you don't water the branch. Vrikshasya Moola Sekena Shakaha Pushyanti Vayatha. Same way, Shive Rudra Japat Prite Prita Evasya Devataha. Ato Rudra Japadhevaha Mukti Bhukti Prasadhyashchatu. For both this world and that world, Bhukti and Mukti, you water the root, you get both. Worshipping Shiva includes worship of all the other deities. Shatarudriyam is a stand-alone practice that will help you to achieve material goals as well as your moksha. That's why Rudram everywhere it comes. Namah Shambhavecha, Mayobavecha, Shankarayacha, Mayaskarayacha, Shambhavecha, Shambhu, Shankaroti iti Shankaraha. One who is Mangalam, auspicious, does good things for you in this world. That Shambhu, Mayobavecha in the other world. Shankaraya in this world helps you. Mayaskaraya, other world. Taittiriya Upanishad tells you, one adores Ishvara through the repeated namaskaras, all the longings of the heart will be fulfilled. Tam namaithyupasina namyanteshmai kamaha. All your right desires will be fulfilled. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. If you have any questions, I'll unmute you all. Just the person alone who is going to ask a question, unmute yourself and ask a question.